The concept of the Antichrist has been a topic of fascination, fear, and speculation for centuries. According to the Bible, the Antichrist is a figure of immense evil who will appear in the end times to deceive many and lead a rebellion against God. This figure is often seen as the ultimate antagonist in the Christian eschatological narrative, representing the culmination of all opposition to God and His people. The recent claim that the Antichrist has been revealed to the world is a dramatic assertion that merits a thorough examination within the context of biblical prophecy and interpretation. Before we start, we'd like to ask for your support. If you enjoy our video, please hit the like button. This will help us reach more people and create content for you. Now let's get started with today's video. Biblical references to the Antichrist. The term Antichrist is found primarily in the epistles of John in the New Testament. Specifically, 1 John chapter 2 verse 18 states, "Children, it is the last hour, and as you have heard that Antichrist is coming, so now many Antichrists have come. Therefore, we know that it is the last hour." This passage indicates that there is not just one Antichrist, but many, and that their presence signals the nearing end times. 1 John chapter 2 verse 22 further elaborates, "Who is the liar but he who denies that Jesus is the Christ? This is the Antichrist, he who denies the Father and the Son." Here, the Antichrist is identified as someone who denies the fundamental Christian belief in Jesus as the Messiah and the divine relationship between the Father and the Son. 1 John chapter 4 verse 3 adds, "And every spirit that does not confess Jesus is not from God. This is the spirit of the Antichrist, which you heard was coming and now is in the world already." This passage suggests that the spirit of the Antichrist is already at work in the world, influencing those who oppose Christian teachings. Finally, 2 John chapter 1 verse 7 warns, "For many deceivers have gone out into the world, those who do not confess the coming of Jesus Christ in the flesh. Such a one is the deceiver and the Antichrist." This verse underscores the deceptive nature of the Antichrist, who denies the incarnation of Christ. The Antichrist in the book of Revelation. The book of Revelation, the last book of the New Testament, is often cited in discussions about the Antichrist, although it does not use the term explicitly. Instead, it describes a series of apocalyptic visions involving a beast, which many theologians and scholars interpret as a representation of the Antichrist. Revelation chapter 13 introduces the beast from the sea. "And I saw a beast rising out of the sea, with 10 horns and 7 heads, with 10 diadems on its horns and blasphemous names on its heads." Revelation chapter 13 verse 1. This beast is given power by the dragon, commonly understood as Satan, and is worshipped by many. "And they worshipped the dragon, for he had given his authority to the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, 'Who is like the beast, and who can fight against it?'" Revelation chapter 13 verse 4. The beast is described as performing great signs and wonders, deceiving those who dwell on the earth. It performs great signs, even making fire come down from heaven to earth in front of people. And by the signs that it is allowed to work in the presence of the beast, it deceives those who dwell on earth, telling them to make an image for the beast that was wounded by the sword and yet lived. Revelation chapter 13 verses 13 to 14. The beast's authority is said to last for 42 months, during which it will wage war against the saints and conquer them. Also, it was allowed to make war on the saints and to conquer them. And authority was given it over every tribe and people and language and nation. Revelation chapter 13 verse 7. Characteristics and actions of the Antichrist from these biblical passages. Several key characteristics and actions of the Antichrist can be identified. Deception. The Antichrist is primarily characterized by deception, leading many away from the truth of the gospel. This deception involves denying Jesus as the Christ and rejecting the fundamental tenets of Christianity. Blasphemy. The Antichrist will utter blasphemous names and claims, positioning himself against God and seeking to usurp divine authority. Miraculous signs. The Antichrist will perform miraculous signs and wonders to legitimize his authority and deceive the masses. These signs serve to reinforce his deceptive influence over people. Persecution. The Antichrist will persecute the saints, waging war against those who remain faithful to God. This persecution will be severe and widespread. Global influence. The Antichrist will have a global impact, exercising authority over all peoples, tribes, and nations. This suggests a figure of immense political and social power. Historical and modern interpretations. Throughout history, numerous figures have been labeled as the Antichrist. In the early centuries of Christianity, some Roman emperors, such as Nero, were thought to embody the Antichrist due to their persecution of Christians and claims of divinity. During the Reformation, Protestant reformers often identified the Pope as the Antichrist, viewing the papacy as a corrupt institution that led believers away from true Christianity. In modern times, speculation about the Antichrist continues, often fueled by geopolitical events and charismatic leaders. Various political figures, religious leaders, and even technological advancements have been cited as potential fulfillments of the Antichrist prophecies. These interpretations are highly subjective and reflect the anxieties and concerns of their respective eras. Evaluating current claims given the long-standing tradition of associating contemporary figures with the Antichrist. Any claim that the Antichrist has been revealed should be approached with caution and discernment. It is essential to consider the following biblical criteria. Does the individual in question meet the biblical criteria for the Antichrist, including deception, blasphemy, miraculous signs, persecution of believers, and global influence? Historical context. How does this claim fit within the broader historical context of previous Antichrist identifications? Is it consistent with or divergent from traditional interpretations? Source of the claim. Who is making the claim, and what is their motivation? Are they a credible and reliable source, or do they have a history of sensationalism and alarmism? Impact of the claim. What are the potential consequences of accepting or rejecting this claim? How might it affect the beliefs and behaviors of individuals and communities? Conclusion. The figure of the Antichrist remains one of the most enigmatic and debated aspects of Christian eschatology. While the Bible provides certain characteristics and actions associated with the Antichrist, interpretations vary widely. And historical precedents show a pattern of identifying various figures as the Antichrist in response to specific circumstances. Any assertion that the Antichrist has been revealed to the world should be carefully scrutinized in light of biblical teachings, historical interpretations, and the credibility of the sources involved. While the possibility of the Antichrist's appearance remains a significant concern for many believers, it is crucial to approach such claims with a balanced and thoughtful perspective, grounded in Scripture and reason. Please subscribe my YouTube channel. I hope you like this video. Thank you.